Have you ever stopped and wondered why two people can live in the same world, yet experience completely different lives? Why one person wakes up anxious, overwhelmed, and stuck, while another feels calm, focused, and in control? It's not luck. It's not talent. It's not circumstances. It's the thought they chose to keep. Because here is a truth that will change your life forever. Your mind can only hold one dominant thought at a time. And that thought becomes the world you live in. Every single thought you think is like a bird released into the sky of your future. Some birds build beautiful nests, others come back as storms. Your subconscious mind does not question your thoughts. It accepts them, it believes them, and it builds your reality around them. This is why mastering your thoughts is not self-help. It's self-survival. The conscious mind works on a simple law, the law of substitution. It can only focus on one thought at a time. That one thought determines how your emotions respond, how your body reacts, how your subconscious records the experience. So if a negative thought enters your mind, fear, blame, anxiety, self-doubt, you cannot fight it by arguing with it. You must replace it. That's the key. The moment you replace a destructive thought, you take back control of your emotional life. And the most powerful replacement thought is this: I am responsible. Say it slowly. Feel it in your body. I am responsible. Because the instant you say those words, something shifts. Blame disappears. Victimhood collapses. Power returns. The key to high performance, the key to inner peace, the key to real success is not avoiding negative emotions. It's knowing how to remove them the moment they appear. The first moment you feel stress rising, the first second you feel anger, sadness, anxiety, or fear, you interrupt it. You say, I am responsible. I am responsible. Wait a moment. I am responsible. And then you add I like myself. I respect myself. And nothing outside of me controls my peace. Because here is something most people never learn. You cannot say, I am responsible, and feel powerless at the same time. One thought cancels the other. That's the law. Affirmations are not magic words. They are commands. Strong, positive, assertive statements you say about yourself, to yourself in belief. And the two most powerful words in the human language are I am. Why? Because only you can say I am about you. No one else can program your identity unless you let them. When your subconscious hears I am responsible, it recognizes authority, and immediately your emotions begin to shift. Your breathing changes, your body relaxes, your mind clears. So when you feel sad or angry or anxious or out of control, don't run from the thought. Write it down. Ask yourself, Lee, is this thought true? Is it absolutely true? Well, how do I feel when I believe this thought? How do I act because of it? What result does this thought create in my life? Then ask the most powerful question of all. Oh, who would I be without this thought? How would I feel? How would I act? What would change? Now comes the part that rewires your brain. Take that original thought and turn it into its opposite. Force your mind to obey the law of substitution, because the mind is not a vacuum. If you remove a thought, something else must replace it. And if you don't choose the replacement, your old programming will. Most people don't lose control of their lives all at once. They lose it one thought at a time. A single negative thought shows up, then another joins it, then another. And before you realize it, your mind is no longer thinking, it's spiraling. Fear turns into anxiety. Anxiety turns into paralysis. Paralysis turns into regret. And the dangerous part, most people never notice when the spiral starts. That's why you must learn how to interrupt it immediately. There is a simple but powerful technique that separates people who stay mentally strong from people who stay mentally trapped. It's called STOP, and it works because your brain responds to commands, not wishes. The moment you notice a thought that makes you feel Or anxious, E, tense, E, angry, E, overwhelmed, or fearful. You do not analyze it. You do not debate it. You do not explain it. You interrupt it forcefully. You say out loud, if possible, estope. That word is not symbolic. It is neurological. It works the same way hitting pause stops a video, or force. Closing a glitchy app freezes everything instantly. For a split second, your mind goes quiet, and in that moment of silence, you take control. Because here's the truth. You cannot think two thoughts at the same time. That pause gives you power. Now comes the second step, the most important one. You must immediately redirect your attention. If you stop a negative thought and leave your mind empty, your brain will automatically return to fear. So instead, you insist on thinking about something you desire, not something vague, not something negative in disguise, something clear, something intentional. Every time your mind drifts back to what scares you, you say, estope again, and return your focus to what you want again and again and again. This is not about motivation. This is mental discipline. And most people fail here for one reason. They are lazy with their thinking. They allow their mind to slide into worst case scenarios. They rehearse failure. They imagine disaster. That's why negativity feels normal to them, and positivity feels exhausting. But understand this, the majority of people are negative by default because negativity requires no effort. Positivity requires conscious focus. That's why very few people are mentally free. Now combine estope with the most powerful emotional reset phrase in existence. I, like myself, I am responsible. The moment you say, I am responsible, something remarkable happens. Blame disappears. Excuses collapse. Emotional chaos shuts down because you cannot say, I am responsible, and feel angry, helpless, or resentful at the same time. One thought replaces the other. That's the law of substitution in action. The instant you accept responsibility, you take back the steering wheel of your emotional life. You're no longer reacting. You're choosing. And here's something most people don't want to hear, but need to hear. Nobody makes you feel anything. No one makes you angry. No one makes you anxious. No one makes you insecure. You decide how you feel. And then if you're not careful, you build a habit of blaming someone else for it. And blame is the root of all negative emotion. Blame feeds anger. Blame feeds resentment. Blame feeds helplessness. The moment blame ends, the emotion dies. Think of negative emotion like a Christmas tree. The lights represent fear, anger, sadness, anxiety. Blame is the power cord. When you pull the plug, all the lights go out at once. And the way you pull the plug is simple law of substitution. Your conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time. If it's holding fear, it cannot hold confidence. If it's holding blame, it cannot hold responsibility. So every time a negative thought appears, you replace it immediately, not tomorrow, not later, now. If you allow a thought to sit, it multiplies. That's why awareness is everything. For the next 21 days, you must become a guardian of your mind. Watch your thoughts. Listen to your inner dialogue. Notice repeated mental patterns. Write them down. Then ask, why do I keep thinking this? What must I believe about myself for this thought to exist? Because every recurring thought is driven by a belief. And once you find the belief, you create a bold affirmation that directly opposes it, even if it doesn't feel true yet, especially if it doesn't feel true yet, because you're not erasing old wiring, you're overriding it. The brain doesn't delete pathways, it replaces them with stronger ones. And every time you say the new thought, every time you repeat it, every time you act from it, you are building a new version of yourself. Change does not begin with action. It begins with identity. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of who you believe you are. And most people never change their lives because they never change the story they tell themselves about who they are. They say, I'm just not that kind of person. Why? I've always been this way. Well, that's just who I am. No, that's who you've trained your brain to be. Your brain is not fixed. It is not permanent. It is not your enemy. Your brain is plastic. That's neuroplasticity. Every thought you repeat, every emotion you dwell in, every behavior you reinforce, you are wiring it into your nervous system. You are literally shaping your identity at a biological level. The version of you that exists today is the result of thousands of repeated thoughts and behaviors from the past, which means this truth cannot be ignored. If you created this version of you, you can create a new one. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Your brain does not care if a thought is true. It only cares if it is repeated. If you repeat, well, I'm not enough. Well, I always mess things up. Well, I can't handle pressure. Or people leave me. Your brain accepts it as law, not because it's real, but because it's familiar. And the brain is addicted to familiarity, not happiness. That's why change feels dangerous. When you begin thinking differently, your brain will resist. It will pull you back toward the old identity. It will whisper, Lee, this isn't you. Like, you're pretending. Wait, you'll fail again. That resistance is not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's proof that you're rewiring. Understand this, you cannot remove an old neural pathway. You can only build a stronger one on top of it. That's why affirmations matter, not as motivation, but as mental training. When you say, I am responsible, I am capable, I am becoming disciplined, I am learning how to win, you are not lying. You are installing new software, even if your emotions don't agree yet. Emotion always follows repetition. That's why consistency matters more than intensity. A single powerful moment won't change you. 1,000 small repetitions will. This is how identity shifts. Not overnight, not magically, but inevitably every time a negative thought appears, and you replace it every time fear shows up, and you act anyway, every time you choose discipline over comfort. You are voting for a new identity, and identities are built by votes, not promises. Now understand this deeply, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, just like your hand is part of you, but not all of you. Just like your body is part of you, but not all of you. Your mind is a tool, and for most people, it's running them. The moment you realize, I am aware of this thought, therefore I am not this thought, you regain power. You stop identifying with fear. You stop identifying with doubt. You stop saying, I am anxious, and start saying, well, I feel anxious about this. That shift matters, because anxiety is not an identity, it's a signal. It's your brain reacting to uncertainty, and uncertainty is not danger, it's growth. Every time you step into something unfamiliar, your brain triggers alarm. Not because you can't handle it, but because you've never practiced handling it yet. And practice is how identity evolves. Here's something most people never realize: your brain believes what you act on, not what you think. You can repeat affirmations all day, but action seals the identity. That's why small actions are powerful. When you act confident even while feeling fear, your brain rewires. When you show up even when you feel tired, your brain rewires. When you speak up even when your voice shakes, your brain rewires. Identity is formed through behavior under pressure. And here's the truth: nobody tells you the old version of you will fight to survive, because it feels safe. But safety is not fulfillment. Familiar pain is more comfortable than unfamiliar growth. That's why most people stay stuck. But if you persist, if you keep replacing thoughts, if you keep acting differently, if you keep choosing discomfort, something powerful happens. The new identity becomes automatic. What once felt forced becomes natural. What once felt scary becomes normal. What once felt impossible becomes routine. This is how transformation actually happens. Not through inspiration, through repetition. And one day you wake up and realize, I don't think like that anymore. Not because you tried to stop it, but because the new you replaced the old you. Here is where everything comes together. Awareness without action is useless. Knowledge without discipline is wasted. And intention without execution is self-deception. You don't change your life by understanding the mind. You change your life by mastering it daily. Mental mastery is not about feeling good. It's about being in control. Control of attention, control of emotion, control of response. Because your life does not respond to what you hope for. It responds to what you practice. Discipline is the bridge between who you are now and who you are becoming. And discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. Every time you choose to do what must be done instead of what feels good, you send a signal to your subconscious, I can trust myself. That trust is power. Most people lose confidence not because they fail, but because they don't keep promises to themselves. Each broken promise weakens identity. Each kept promise strengthens it. This is how inner authority is built, not in grand moments, but in small, boring, repeated decisions. The days you don't feel like it are the days that matter most. Because motivation is unreliable. Discipline is not. If you only act when you feel inspired, you are a slave to emotion. But when you act because you decided to, you become dangerous. Here is the truth. Your environment will not support your growth. Your old habits will call you back. Your old identity will tempt you. Your old comfort will whisper lies. That's why mental mastery requires intentional structure. You must design your days before your emotions design them for you. What you consume shapes you. What you listen to, what you watch, who you spend time with, what you repeatedly think about. Your mind is always being trained, either by you or by the world. And the world is not invested in your greatness. So you must become the guardian of your attention. Protect it like your life depends on it. Because it does. Because where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your life grows. Mental mastery also means learning how to sit with discomfort without escaping. Most people run the moment they feel bored, anxious, or uncertain. They distract, they scroll, they numb. But discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the signal of expansion. Every time you stay present with discomfort without running from it, your nervous system grows stronger. Your tolerance increases. Your confidence deepens. Your identity upgrades. This is how discipline becomes embodied. You stop forcing yourself. You become the kind of person who does hard things. And once that happens, life changes fast. Because the world bends for people who are internally aligned. Now understand this, you don't need to control the future. You only need to control today. Today's thoughts. Today's actions. Today's standards. That's it. Master today. And tomorrow has no choice but to follow. This is not about perfection. This is about direction. When you fall, you correct. When you fail, you learn. When you drift, you refocus. No guilt, no shame, no drama. You've just responsibility. Because responsibility is freedom. The moment you stop blaming, you reclaim your power. No one makes you feel anything. No one controls your reactions. No one dictates your future. You choose. And that choice, repeated daily, becomes destiny. So here is the final command: decide who you are becoming, and then live from that identity. Act like them. Think like them. Choose like them, even before you feel like them, because the feeling will follow the action. Your mind is not your master. It is your instrument. And when you learn to play it deliberately, you don't just change your thoughts, you change your life. Now listen to me carefully. Everything you just heard means nothing if you close this video and go back to the same habits, the same thoughts, the same excuses. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not next week, not when things calm down. Right now, decide, are you going to stay the same, or are you finally going to become someone new? because no one is coming to save you. No one is going to think for you. No one is going to discipline you. That's your job. So here's what I want you to do today. 1, pause this video and write down the Owen thought that has been holding you back the most. Then cross it out. Replace it with a new sentence that starts with, "Oh, I am responsible." Say it out loud. Say it until you feel it. 2, choose only small action you've been avoiding and do it within the next 24 hours. Not perfectly, not confidently. Just do it. Action kills fear. 3, for the next 21 days, guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Every negative thought, replace it. Every excuse, challenge it. Every moment of doubt, act anyway. And if this message hit you, if it shook something inside you, because growth is lonely, but it doesn't have to be silent. Remember this, you don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You don't need permission. You need discipline. You need ownership. You need to decide. So stand up, straighten your spine, take control of your mind, and start becoming the person your future is begging you to be. This is your move. Make it count. Thank you for being with InnerStrength. If this unified story has touched your ambition, your purpose, or your American dream, stay connected with us. Don't let motivation end with a period. Let it continue with action. Subscribe to InnerStrength. Press the like button to support more powerful content, and share this message with someone across the USA who needs to hear it today. InnerStrength is here every day to remind you stay hungry, stay strong, and never stay down.